Hello to all my fantastic ESL Brazilian learners out there, and welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. Now, we're not just going to sit here and do some boring textbook grammar lesson. No way. Today, we're going on a journey to master giving and asking for real-world travel advice, all by using one incredibly useful little English work. Whether you want to sound like a total local expert when showing people around Brazil, or you just want to know how to ask for the best hidden spots when you travel abroad, well, you're definitely in the right place.
So here is our itinerary for today's explainer. First, planning your next trip. Second, the rules of should. Third, asking for recommendations. Fourth, giving great travel advice. And finally, what you shouldn't miss. All right, let's jump right into number 1, planning your next trip. Okay, let's imagine our friend Thomas. Now, Thomas is traveling to this massive, beautiful new city, Mexico City, next month. But here's the catch. He only has a few days there, so he desperately needs some solid local recommendations. Luckily for him, his friend Elena knows exactly where to go. She tells him, you should definitely visit the Palace of Fine Arts. It's really beautiful. Notice that word, should. Elena uses it right there to give a fantastic, friendly suggestion. Moving on to section 2, the rules of should. Let's open up our grammar toolkit. The formula for using should is honestly so simple, it's a total game changer. You just start with your subject. So I, you, he, she, we, whatever you need. Then you drop in our magic modal verb, should. And finally, you just add the base verb like go, visit, or see. So you get easy sentences like I should go or you should visit. And you know what the absolute best part is? Should never ever changes its spelling. The verb that comes after it never takes an S, and it never uses the word to. So you don't say he shoulds go, and you definitely don't say you should to visit. Nope, just you should visit. Simple, right? But you know, sometimes we have to warn travelers about what to avoid, right? For the negative form, you simply slide the word not right after should. So, I should not go. But in everyday spoken English, we almost always squish those words together. Should not becomes shouldn't. It's just faster and sounds more natural. So Elena might tell Thomas, you shouldn't miss the Museum of Modern Art. It's just a really friendly, helpful way to tell him what absolutely not to skip on his trip. All right, section 3, asking for recommendations. Let's talk about being the tourist. So figuring out a brand new country can be pretty confusing for a tourist. To ask for help, we essentially just do a mathematical flip. Actually, scratch that. It's less like math and more just changing the order. We take should, and we just pop it right at the front of the sentence. Step 1, should. Step 2, subject. Step 3, base verb. Let's see exactly how tourists use this in the real world. Just imagine for a second that you are standing in Paris. You look at a local and ask, what should I see from the Eiffel Tower? The local might say you can see all of Paris, but, if it's raining, you probably shouldn't expect to see much of anything. This question structure is literally perfect for finding the best sightseeing spots in any new city you visit. And hey, we also use this exact same question format when we're trying to figure things out with our own travel groups. Imagine you're trying to decide who is coming along to a concert on your trip, but you aren't entirely sure what the plan is. You just ask your friends, should we invite Sarah and David? It's a super polite, natural way to check in with the group before you make a final decision. Which brings us to number 4, giving great travel advice. Time to be the local expert. Let's say a tourist comes up to you and asks if they should rent a car while visiting Egypt. You can give them a really strong, helpful recommendation by saying, no, you should use the subway in Cairo. It's incredibly fast. Or, on the flip side, you can use a strong negative recommendation to highlight something truly amazing. If someone is looking for great bargains in Thailand, you tell them, you shouldn't miss the weekend market in Bangkok. It's literally the best place for shopping. Both of these formulas just make you sound like an incredibly helpful local expert. Let's quickly run through a few more examples. You might say, you should go to India. It's a vibrant, amazing place to visit. Or, you should visit Bogota because the weather is nice almost all year round. But here's the cool thing. We use this for everyday practical stuff too. If your friend feels sick, you tell them you should go to the doctor. If they're completely exhausted, you should go to bed. If they hate their boss, you should look for another job. It works flawlessly for all types of advice, big or small. Now, a quick little side note here. We know should is mainly for giving advice, but native English speakers actually use it in another really common way. We use it to talk about something that is highly probable in the future. For example, if you are sitting in a hotel lobby and your travel buddy is running late, you might tell the receptionist, he should be here in 5 minutes. You aren't giving him advice to be there, you're just saying it's very, very likely that he will arrive soon. Finally, let's look at number 5, what you shouldn't miss. Consider this your cultural bonus for the day. There is this fantastic native speaker idiom I want to share with you. You shouldn't have. Now, don't let the negative confuse you. This is actually a very polite, pleasantly surprised expression used in spoken English. We use it to say an enthusiastic thank you when someone hands us a totally unexpected gift. It basically translates to, wow, it really wasn't necessary for you to spend your hard-earned money on me, but thank you so, so much. To put that into perspective, imagine your friend Mark just gets back from a European vacation. He walks up, hands you a beautiful little wrapped box, and says, I got you some perfume from Paris. You're totally shocked, right? So you smile and say, oh, Mark, you shouldn't have. It is absolutely the perfect, natural way to show your gratitude in that moment. And wow, that brings us to the end of our explainer. But before you close this out, I want you to apply what we've just learned to your own beautiful hometowns in Brazil. Think about it. What time of year should someone go to your city, and what shouldn't a visitor miss while they are there? Practice writing out your answers using these rules we just covered. Once you can do that, you are officially ready to be the ultimate tour guide. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep practicing that English, and I will see you next time.